Hi, friends. You can hear me now. I'm going to disconnect real quick. Is it working? Don't think it is. Okay. Okay. Well, I've got to unplug it and take it to the panel anyway. You guys having a good con? Yeah. Raise your hand if you've already been in one of my panels. You have. And you have. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming back. Welcome all of the new people. My name is Emmy Jade, and I am a member of the Cutscene Queens. We've got a booth in the dealer's hall where you can come talk to us and play some video games if you are so inclined. We've got a little retro gaming setup in there that you can see. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite characters, if the thing will show on the screen. What's been your favorite thing that's happened this weekend? What's been your favorite part of Yamacon? Raise your hand if you want to tell me. Anybody? Got a quiet bunch in here. What's your favorite part? Oh. Okay. See, I wouldn't have known anyway, so. Scary panel. There we go. Hi. All right, so here's a little bit of my bona fides. Basically, World War II and Agent Carter is my hyperfixation, and I have cosplayed Agent Carter for about 7 years now. So you can see some of those pictures. Did not bring that cosplay this year because I am a working adult with a terrible job. So cool. This is Peggy. Peggy punches Nazis. Be more like Peggy. Punch Nazis. If you break a Nazi's arm, he has 50% less arms to do Nazi stuff with. Peggy. Oh, no. Oh, go back one. Canva, that's too fast. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, calm on. There we go. So Peggy was inspired by a lot of different really cool women in World War II. And we're going to talk, first of all, about the British women who went to war. Because they went to war before a lot of other people. We didn't actually get there until the war had been going on for a few years. And the British women kind of jumped right into not necessarily equal roles, but they did a lot of things. Okay, go for it. They ended up taking up a lot of roles that weren't necessarily traditional feminine roles at the time. We love this, okay? So hold on, let me make sure. Actually, I skipped like through. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Sorry about that, guys. This thing is finicky and I have to check on it occasionally. So, I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer to read this paragraph for me. You come up here. Anybody? Come on up. You take the microphone and I want you to read this and then I'm going to tell you where it's from.
A British woman officer or non-commissioned officer can, and most often does, give orders to a man private. The men obey smartly and know it is no shame, for British women have proven themselves in this way. There is not a single record in this war of any British woman in uniform service quitting her post or failing in her duty under fire. Now you understand why British soldiers respect the woman in uniform. They have won the right to the utmost respect. When you see a girl in khaki or Air Force blue with a bit of ribbon on her tunic, remember she didn't get it for knitting more socks than anyone else in Ipswich.
Thank you for reading this. So this is one of the funniest things, in my opinion, that the British government has ever done. This is actually part of a pamphlet that was called Tips for American Servicemen in Britain. There was a series of these pamphlets. Apparently, we were so rowdy that we needed instruction manuals for each country we visited. There was one for France that was slightly less funny, where they had to tell their own soldiers, "Hey, the Americans segregate their army for some reason, and you're just gonna have to look out for that. It's weird, but you know, don't don't get in punch fights with them, even though you might maybe should have." But this was an indicator to the American servicemen to not mouth off to a woman who might be giving them orders. Like, for example, the man who does anybody remember Captain America: The First Avenger? You guys remember when Peggy put that dude on the ground? Yeah, he would have read this. So that's probably my favorite moment in Marvel history at all. Let's talk about this. Next, we're going to talk about a history of red lipstick. We got any ladies here who like to wear red lipstick? Cool, cool. We got anybody here who thinks Nazis are bad? Please raise your hand. Awesome, thank you. So, red lipstick has a very long history. It actually started in Sumeria, but on the American continent, it first began with the suffragettes. They would wear red lipstick and march in the streets because red lipstick was seen to be intimidating. It was a sign of a loose woman. Got any loose women in the house? Just kidding. Just kidding. It stood for the power of women, but it was most often being described. It was most often described as being something that was used to terrorize men. They were afraid of the red lipstick back then, apparently. It was so described by Adolf Hitler, which is one of the reasons that red lipstick became a symbol of anti-fascism in the United States and Britain, which is why every time you watch a biopic that took place in World War II, every woman is wearing red lipstick. You can actually buy the kind of red lipstick, because Hitler hated this red lipstick so much and it became such a symbol. It became standard issue in the United States Army. It was passed out to every woman with her uniform starting in 1941 through the rest of the war. And you can actually still buy this color today. There is a makeup company, which is actually where the television show for Agent Carter bought all of its makeup, called Besame Cosmetics. And you can actually go and buy a color called Victory Red. How do you spell it? Besame? Besame Cosmetics. It's run by a really cool lady named Gabriela Hernandez, who does a lot of historical makeup. So not just World War II, it kind of goes from, I think, the 1910s through the 1970s, I think. So if you do any kind of historical cosplay, it's really useful for that. But you can buy a color called Victory Red, which is the color that it's the closest thing to the color that the American servicewomen were issued with their uniforms. That is not this. I was not able to bring that for this go round, but that is what I usually wear with my Agent Carter World War II uniforms, anything from the first movie. You can also, if you're a big fan of Agent Carter, you can get their red velvet, which is the one from the show, just as a tip. But yeah, no, it was Hitler hated red lipstick so much that it spread across the Allied territories. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some specific ladies. I put Virginia here first because she's one of my favorites, and she's also kind of the closest to Peggy in sort of what her life looked like, because she was an American spy who worked for Britain's SOE, which is the same organization that Peggy started out with, and she lost her leg in a hunting accident, and she was still one of the deadliest spies that they had known to man. She had a prosthetic leg that she called Cuthbert. So she was a decorated American spy. She worked for British Special Operations, and she was one of the most successful agents, and this is the other part that made her more like Peggy, because the original Agent Carter in the comics was a French spy. She was also a blonde. So when they did Haley Atwell, when they brought her in, that was a kind of a big change from the original comics. Sharon Carter in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she actually looks a lot more like the original Peggy. But yeah, no, Virginia was she helped organize resistance movements in occupied France. And she was called the Limping Lady. So they'd see a lady with the limp and they'd be like, is that her? Oh no. She's an incredibly cool lady. I love Grace Hopper. Does anybody here know who Grace Hopper is? Okay, okay. I'm excited to be able to be the first person to introduce you to Grace Hopper. Okay. She left a very comfortable life because, let me back up. Before we had these computers in our pockets, sometimes computer was a job and not a thing that you held in your hand. And there was a guy, I don't remember his name, but way back in the pre-computer times in ancient history, when he discovered that he could hire women at a cheaper rate who were good at math to do these computing jobs. Grace Hopper was one of these human computers. She was very, very smart with numbers. She left an incredibly comfortable life where she was a teacher at a professor to fight Nazis. She basically dedicated all of her work to developing, I think it was like torpedo systems or something like that. And she was uniquely in her time someone who gave orders to men in the American Army, which at the time for a woman or Navy, was very, very rare. Oh yeah, she played a key role in the development of the first large-scale electronic computer. Digital is the wrong word there, but leave that out. During World War II, she worked as a mathematical consultant for the Bureau of Ordnance Computation Project at Columbia University, where she developed algorithms that helped to calculate the trajectory of naval guns. When she retired, she was Rear Admiral Grace Hopper. She lived a very long time. She didn't die until 1992. So up until like pretty recently in the long span of things, she was still with us. I highly encourage anyone who is interested in World War II type stuff to look up Grace Hopper. This is Elsie McGill. Elsie was another very interesting character. I'm not sure. I had to hire someone else to do the research for this, and I'm not sure that they were entirely accurate in some of it. Yeah, no, Elsie McGill was the first woman in the world to earn a degree in electrical engineering. I'm pretty sure that one's true. And she designed and built a training airplane for the Royal Canadian Air Force. She's a very cool lady. No. Forward is where you go. Hedy Lamarr is the last lady we're going to talk about because our Sunday panels are kind of short. So we kind of give you guys time to rest. But I saved my very favorite one for last. Does anybody know who Hedy Lamarr is? You know. Okay, cool. Thank you. And for the rest of you, congratulations. You're about to know who Hedy Lamarr is. So Hedy Lamarr was a movie star, often known as, like, they called her the most beautiful woman in the world back then. But she also affects everyone here's life every single day. Does anyone here have Bluetooth headphones? You do. Does anyone here use, I don't know, the internet? Yeah, you use the internet? Well, you need to say thank you to Hedy Lamarr, because along with being a star, she was also an inventor. And she worked on a project to develop radio guidance system for torpedoes. And that system used a frequency hopping spread spectrum technology that is the reason Wi-Fi and Bluetooth works at all. So she remained very dedicated to both her life as an actress and her life as an inventor. She saved a lot of lives with that technology, including mine, because now I can check Twitter. And with that, we're going to kind of let you guys go a little early. That is just kind of a little taste of some of the ladies that inspired Agent Carter. It is one of my favorite things to talk about. So if you are still interested in talking about it, you can come by our booth, which is in the dealer's hall. You should walk straight and go to the left. And you can come talk to me. My name is Emmy Jade. My friend that I do this with, his name is Quiddlesticks, and we're the Cutscene Queens, and we are unskippable. Thank you guys for tuning in.